Good morning to each and everyone gathered here. I, Gaurav Toshniwal,
And I, Mehal Chaudhary.
takes the privilege to take you through the first technical session for the day. Let's get ready to take off.
For this session, I would like to call on the dais Session Chairman CA Anand Paranjape sir, Founder and Director of Anand ERP India Private Limited, CA Sachin Minya sir, Managing Committee Member of Pune branch of ICAI, and Mr. Deven Lunkar, Secretary of Pune branch of Vikasa. CA Ajinkya Randive sir.
I'm really delightful to I'm really delightful and grateful to introduce respected CA Anand Paranjape sir. He is a chartered accountant and founder director of Anand ERP India Private Limited, a company engaged in providing packed software along with associated services like installation, implementation, management consultancy and BPO. He has over 40 years of experience mainly in finance and software. During this period, he has worked in India and abroad. He has thorough experience in designing and handling in-house as well as packed software products. He has himself handled multilingual and multi-currency software packages in international environment. Mr. Paranjape has also managed 4 years Indian operation of a US company engaged in geographic information systems. Mr. Paranjape sir has worked in an honorary capacity as a chairman of Pune chapter of Computer Society of India. As a part of Educational Institute or Industry Corporation initiative, he has conducted training courses in ERP software for the benefit of students of IT and management.
Now, I would like to call upon CA Ajinkya Randive sir for delivering the opening address.
Good morning, Pune. So on a Sunday morning, seeing such a huge crowd is truly an amazing eyesight. So I welcome you all to the second and the last day of Students' National Conference 2022. I also welcome our session chairman, CA Anand Paranjape sir. I also welcome and congratulate our paper presenters for showing them the courage to stand before such a huge crowd. So in today's world, technology is fast changing. So if you want to be in line with current trends, then you have to be quick enough to adapt to such changing technology. Yesterday, someone mentioned a quote by Charles Darwin. I would again mention the same, that it is not the strongest of the species that survive, not the most intelligent that survives. It is the one that is most adaptable to change that survives. So we all know what happened to Nokia. So I'm just giving an example that once there was a time when Nokia was the dominant in mobile sector, but today now they did not adapt with the change with the technology. So Samsung and other players are dominating the market. So if you want to be in line with the current trend, then you have to adapt with the technology. So now let's move forward to an amazing session on blockchain. Thank you.
Now, I would like to call our paper presenters Mr. Nitish Reddy, Mr. Venkadinesh Madhu, and Ms. Vedangi Asavle. Let's proceed with the paper presentation. Now, here is the time to call our first paper presenter for this session, Mr. Nitish Reddy, who will present on the topic Blockchain and Data Analytics Technology. Mr. Nitish Reddy from Hyderabad, a CA final student and pursuing articleship at Naveen Associates in the field of statutory and tax audit. Other than academics, he is interested in reading books and learning about new developments in business technology.
Good morning, respected dignitaries on and off stage, and good morning, my dear students and friends. technology is very transformational. It transforms the way the world currently it is functioning. So my topic is blockchain and data analytics. Many of us usually have, many doubts on this technology because we are not good at these terms of technology. What is blockchain technology? How does it function? What are the implications and application areas of blockchain? What is data analytics? Why and how do we use data analytics in the real world applications? So to have answers to all these questions, please concentrate and stay tuned for the next few minutes. Blockchain. Blockchain is a shared immutable ledger that facilitates the recording of transactions and tracking of assets across the entire network of computer systems on blockchain. You may not have clear idea of what this definition means now. As we proceed further, you can recognize the meaning of this definition. So let me answer first, how does a blockchain works? As we record transactions in a block. Let us say we have few transactions. We start recording the transactions in a block, and as soon as the block completely gets filled with the number of transactions, we start creating another block. And in this process, we keep linking the blocks. That means using the programming, we create a unique code which gets generated, which becomes the input of the next block, which will continue to carry on with the next block. So here we keep creating an irreversible chain, which is called a blockchain. That means this provides us with the key elements of blockchain. Those are distributed ledger technology. That means, as I said, blockchain is a shared immutable ledger technology, which means all the network systems of the blockchain which are linked to the blockchain will have access to the ledgers. That means every person has to validate the transaction which got entered onto the blockchain. If someone tries to enter any transaction, if any party of the blockchain does not validate the transaction, it will not allow to the record. So this facility is available in blockchain. Immutable records. This means, as I said, blockchains are connected. It is an irreversible chain, which means we'll keep recording the transactions in this chain, and nobody can try to reverse or delete any record because we have linked the chain. Smart contracts. Smart contract means we have a preset of conditions through which we will execute the contracts. Once the conditions of the contract are met, the contract is usually get executed without manual intervention. So we can use blockchain for using and entering into smart contracts. Benefits. So as I said, this is a distributed ledger technology. It means it gives greater trust to all the users. No user can change the data, which means every user of this technology and every application of this technology has greater trust and greater security, which means you cannot delete or reverse the transactions which are already entered. More efficiency, as there are no problems in security and trust, and we have more transparency in recording the transactions. This gives us with the benefit of more efficiency. Now, let us look at some of the applications which are being done currently among different sectors and areas around the world. Those are the retail sector, healthcare, pharmaceutical, supply chain, agriculture, hospitality, e-governance, and utility. Let me clear one thing here, that many of us have an assumption that cryptocurrency is blockchain. No. Bitcoin or so-called cryptocurrencies are an application of blockchain, just like an email is an application of internet. Now let me give you a few examples of application of this blockchain technology in different sectors. Blockchain in supply chain mechanism. So by the way, let me ask you a question. How many of you here have an iPhone? How many of you use an iPhone? Please raise your hand. Yeah, good number. Do you have any idea that iPhone has the source of its raw materials from 43 countries among 6 continents? It is very complex, right? Very complex to manage the supply chain mechanism. Lot of paperwork goes into the supply chain mechanism. As auditors, we have very clear knowledge how much bunch of papers get created when we try to document the transactions entered. So, blockchain technology helps us overcome this problem. Because of this technology, we can digitize all these transactions and have a proper record. And let me share with you an example of practical application. Walmart. Walmart has already launched 2 projects. Recent second project was launched in this year, which is for using in the e-commerce industry. Walmart was actually facing the problem of low quality of products delivery. The customer satisfaction rate was very low, and it was facing high rate of returns and refunds. So the problem is it was not able to detect at which stage the product's quality was bad. So it has started implementing the blockchain, inscribing every transaction into the blockchain from farm or manufacturing center to the storage to transportation to delivery. With this, you can find out at the point where the defect has actually taken place. This gives a lot of efficiency and effectiveness into the system. And let us look at what the government of India has to do with the blockchain. Government of India has done a lot of work on this blockchain. Niti Aayog advised the government through this paper, Blockchain, the India Strategy in Jan 20. And in December 20, National Informatics Center, the Center of Excellence, has launched to advise the government on various applications of blockchain technology in India. And in Jan 21, the draft of National Strategy on Blockchain was launched, and it was open for the expression of opinion for experts in the industry. And in December 21, the National Strategy and Blockchain was finally launched. It shows us the areas of applications, how does India deal with it, the challenges, the future consequences, the training and framework requirements which are required to be implemented by the government in India. And let me tell you that Indian government, including with some 14 to 15 states, has already launched many pilot projects which are currently under planning and development stage. And many state governments are also planning to run their own projects. So blockchain technology has a huge potential to transform the world. So we should have a complete knowledge, how does this technology help us? Now let me show you some statistics on data. By seeing this, you will amaze at these statistics, because it was mind-boggling to see these results. The data transactions between 2010 to 2020 were increased by 5,000%. That means the data generation around the world is on huge rise. Every internet users create so much of data on every day, and the records are crossing day by day. This shows the very much importance of data. Companies have managed many assets such as PPE, inventory, or be it cash or any other intangibles. And now in today's world, we need to manage the new asset, data. We live in the era of big data. We have data analytics at the center of it, which shows that data analytics is very important for every one of us, and we need to have knowledge on this. Data analytics. Data analytics is the process of analyzing raw data in order to draw meaningful conclusions and analysis from the data and have complete results to use them, make proper and good, better business decisions. Let us go to the process of data analytics. Understanding the types of data and you need to know the specific questions which you need to answer, and you need to know the study of objectives which you want to answer. And then you start with collecting the data. You can collect the data maybe from the internal sources or the external sources of the enterprise. And most of the times, the data, as I said, includes the duplicate data, which means almost 60% of the data has duplicative in nature. So we need to clean the data, we need to make it into a format, and then we start with the analyzing process of data. We use many tools and techniques at this stage, which I would discuss later, and then we finally compile the results of this process. Benefits. Data analytics provides us with many benefits. These are the few benefits: improving revenue, operational efficiency, proper market, competitive edge, proper organizational risk and decision-making system, proper financial results, proper relation with customers and all the business partners. So let us see some of the techniques which are used. We are familiar with few techniques: regression analysis, Monte Carlo simulation, factor analysis, cluster analysis, time series analysis, and few data analysis tools. As per Forbes rating, these are the top used business analytics, data analytics tools. Microsoft Power BI, Tableau are most used for data visualization. Data visualization means representing the data in the form of charts and graphs. See, the reporting of data analytics results is very important for any business. So these tools are used to report the data. The Click, Looker, Clipfolio, all these are used for machine learning and best used with artificial intelligence technologies. As per Forbes records, now around the world, 59% of the enterprises keep using this data analytics techniques, which means the companies and the enterprises are growing high. They are using data analytics techniques and improving the businesses. And we as auditors also use data analytics in our audit. Data analytics enhances the quality of audit, as we all know, because it allows us to test the 100% of the population. It expands the scope of audit, and in case of automation audit, we can use data analytics. And MS Excel is the basic application and most commonly used by us. And data analytics provides an opportunity for the auditors to obtain more effective and robust understanding of the entity and its environment, how it's functioning. And let me tell you that ICI wants all its students and members to be completely all-round performers. And ICI has many materials on the blockchain technology and data analytics, which are going to affect the finance industry as well. And let me tell you some statistics that fintech sector, the absorption rate of fintech sector in India is at 80%, which is higher than the global rate, which is at 64%. This shows that India is growing higher. India is taking initiative to implement and introduce many blockchain forums and discussions. And India has huge potential in the coming era to lead the world and to show the way to the world how to progress in the technology sector. This is Nitish from Hyderabad, and thank you for the opportunity and time.
Thank you, Mr. Nitesh. It was a wonderful and informative presentation. Proceeding to our next paper presenter, Mr. Venkadinesh Madhu, a CA final student pursuing articleship from Gupta Jasoria and Associates in banking sector. About other curriculum activities, he is interested in playing cricket and has even managed many events at school and college level as well. So I would like to call Mr. Venkadinesh Madhu, who will present on the topic moving towards digital economy.
I see technology as a means to empower and as a tool to bridge the distance between hope and opportunity. This was once quoted by our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji. Namaste to one and all present here. I'm really grateful to the Vikasa team for giving me an opportunity to present my paper on the topic moving towards digital economy. So, what is digital economy? Can anyone from us tell? So, basically, talking in simple terms, an economy which is resulted from the usage of digital technologies in the economic activities can be termed as digital economy, right? Yes. So we'll go back down. We'll go back some down memory lane. In our childhood, whenever our mom used to tell us go and bring some vegetables, she would be giving us a list of vegetables, and she would be giving us a bag, and she would be giving us money, and she's like, "Beta, go and bring the vegetables." We would be going to the market, and we would be giving the list to the shopkeeper, and he might be giving us the vegetables, whatever, and we would be coming back to our home. But now we are chartered, right? Now we have our smartphones. We'll just go into the app, whichever app it might be. Let's say it's Big Basket. We'll go into the app. We'll just see like what vegetables we have to order, and we will order, and we'll do the payment digitally, right? Be it through UPIs or be it through some other electronic fund transfer, and within no time, the vegetables will be coming at our home. So this is a new era. Just like every personality has their characteristics, our digital economy will also have some features, right? The first and the foremost feature is the internet. It is totally driven by internet. We can say that internet is the soul of digital economy. And the second point which would I like to say is it is driven by electronic means. Digital economy can't be run without electronic items, right? Suppose you have to watch movies, so you will need a television. Suppose you have to order something from your cell phone, you will need a cell phone. And the third point which I would like to say is global appeal. It will be valid in India too, and it will be valid all over the world too. And transparency. We'll take some example. We all might be having some UPI apps, right? Be it PhonePe, be it Google Pay, or be it Paytm. Suppose you have done a transaction, suppose you have transferred some money to your friend. So if you will go to the transaction history and you will try to delete the transaction, it won't be deleted. It will be like a permanent record, and there will be transparency. So like whether what transactions you have done or what transactions you have not done. And it's 24/7 connected. Be it any time, be it midnight 12 a.m. or be it in the early morning 4 a.m. too, you will be accessible to the digital economy, or you will be accessible to the digital computing technologies. And data driven, it is rightly said that data is the new oil. For example, suppose you wanted to buy some product and you have searched it in your phone. And the next moment, whenever you save any other apps, you will get the ad about that product. So please buy in from this website, so and so website. So moving forward, talking about the components of digital economy. Majorly, there are three components. The one is e-business infrastructure, and the other one is e-business, and the last one would be e-commerce. Yeah, I have written some, the last point, government optimistic policies. We'll talk about that later. E-business infrastructure. E-business infrastructure includes the hardware, the software, and the technologies which are used for digital economy. And e-business. E-business, basically, in short term, in simple terms, we need to say that business conducted online. We have been learning this through our 11th and 12th, right? And e-commerce is the buying and selling of goods online, simple. And government optimistic policies. This I would like to really highlight this point, because if government isn't supporting, you can't be moving forward. And we should be grateful to this government. From their first term itself, they are very optimistic about the digitalization of India. And the first step was laid, I think so, when the demonetization took place. So, yeah, like 90 to 95% of people are here being articles, right? Yes or no? So I would like to ask you all a question. So you all might be receiving your stipend, right? How are you all receiving your stipend? Your principal would not be coming and giving cash to you, right? So how all you are receiving the stipend? Anyone? It might be IMPS or it might be NEFT, right? So talking about the payment methods included in digital economy, so there are various payment methods. I would like to highlight few. Banking cards, basically debit card, credit card, ja bhi chalo, by paise card mein card maro. And the next point, the next payment method would be net banking, which we use generally electronic transfers. We receive a stipend through NEFT or IMPS, and point of sale, that is POS machines, where we swipe our cards. E-wallets. E-wallets are not the wallets which we carry in our purse, in our pants. But e-wallets are the wallets which are generated by the apps, payment apps, where there is a digital wallet where we have to deposit our money and we can use whenever we want. And UPI. This is something great. We'll talk about it later. And USSD. USSD is a new technology where you will not be needing internet to doing digital transactions. You just need to dial *99# and you can make your payment as commended by, you will go forward and there will be a procedure and you just need to comply the procedure and you will be making your payments. And AEPS is a new system, Aadhaar-enabled payment system, where the digitally Aadhaar-linked bank accounts can make payments between their own bank accounts. Union Budget 2022, a major boost for digital economy. So I would like to highlight a point that the budget allocation for the Digital India program was raised by 67% for the financial year 2022 and 2023. Our respectable Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman ji, while presenting the bill, she stressed about many points, and one of that point was fintech and technology-enabled development. The second point was introduction of digital rupee using blockchain, which will be issued by the Reserve Bank of India. Recently, we have heard the news that RBI has launched digital rupee, right? Yes. So digital rupee is just like our physical currency, but it will be in a digital format. And another point is setup of 75 digital banking units in 75 districts. So the main objective behind this motive was there should be access of internet banking services to each and everyone in the rural area or it be it in the urban area. And digital universities, these are the universities which will be set up digitally. And many renowned universities will come and facilitate for these digital universities. 5G networks, everyone knows about this. Now we are living in 4G era. Now in no time or be it, I think so in the next year onwards, we will be having 5G networks. And the other point which I would like to say about is Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission. This mission is generally where the government has laid a platform where all the registers will be digitally registered, the health providers and health facilitators, and the public will be provided with a unique identification number. And there, whenever we need some services, we can log into that platform and we can avail their facilities. Share of digital economy in India's GDP. As per the study conducted by MEITY, that is Ministry of Economics International, sorry I forgot the means, digital economy in India stood at $20 billion. That is about 8% of GDP in 2018. And now it is expected to rise from 3% to 3 times to 5 times. It will be about 18 to 23% by 2025. And India's digital economy will be valued to generate USD of 1 trillion in market value. So now, there might be some forces behind digital economy, right? Which might be the driving forces. So I have noted down those 4 points. We'll go through it one by one. Internet penetration. Internet, right? Without internet, we can't be doing anything as of now. I think so. There are around 692 million internet active users in India, which is about more than 40 to 45% of our population. And much of the, to our surprise, much of the growth is driven by the rural India. So our village areas as compared to urban area. By 2025, there will be around 900 million internet users in India. That is a very commendable achievement, right? One of the reasons for increasing internet usage is the low data which is available in our country. So, just in a sarcasm way, we should all be thankful to Jio, right? Young population. What do we mean by young population? So, India has the youngest population globally. Young population, as per my thinking, would be like the people who are below the age of 40%, right? And to note it down, there are more than 68% of our population is below 40 years old in our country. Most of those population is very well versed with future technologies, and they all know about a Digital India mission. So be it a child of 10 years or be it an adult of 25 years or 30 years, everyone are very well known with smartphones, and whatever their needs is, they know their needs can be achieved through a smartphone. Smartphone penetration. So we'll go for example. So while registering for this national conference, majority of the students might have registered through their phones, right? So in the WhatsApp groups, you all might have got that message, and you all might have went into the registration link, and you all might have registered, right? India currently has about 750 million smartphone users in India, and it is likely going to reach 1 billion smartphones user base by 2025. 1 billion. And India is expected to be the second largest smartphone manufacturer in the next 5 years. Significant IT sector. Be it the technologies such as cloud computing, artificial intelligence, have given a major boost to the different sectors, be it in banking, be it in retail, or be it in pharma. And other point what I would like to highlight is the IT sector has grown in the double rate as compared to our economy. Fintech services. Fintech services basically are the companies which offer you digital financial services. They just work like NBFCs. For example, you can take Policy Bazaar, where they give you insurances online. We are living in startup culture. In 2016, there were about 471 startups. But now, in 2022, there are around 72,993 startups. So, there is a whopping rise of 15,400% in numbers. Sorry, I got a call from my friend. Hello. हाँ भाई, पैसे चाहिए? ठीक है, भेजता हूँ. One of my friends just called me and he's like, भाई पैसे भेजना. अभी उसने स्कैनर तो भेज दिया, अभी तो पैसे भेजना ही पड़ेगा. So, you all might have been using UPI and PhonePe, right? UPI, PhonePe, Google Pay. So this is the new technology where you just need to transfer money. You will just go to a shop, you have bought some goods, you will be just going to the scanner, you will be removing your phone, and you will be just scanning the barcode, and you will be making the payment. So, all about the game changer, the UPI, Unified Payment Interface. It is an instant real-time payment system developed by the National Payment Corporation of India. Unified Payment Interface processed about 7.3 billion transactions this October. And this is a record high volume since the inception. Also, the market value of the transaction which have been taken place in October is about 12.11 trillion. So coming about the conclusion part, digital economy represents today 15% of the global world GDP. Digital India is the way forward. So being digital is no longer an option, it is in default. Thank you. I would like to end my presentation by a simple quote. This decade is surely going to be India's decade. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Venkadinesh. It was an amazing interactive session. Our next paper presenter is Vedangi Asavle. She is a CA final student pursuing articleship from SRPC and Company LLP. in the Statutory Audit Department. She has keen interest in painting and sketches and actively participation in debates and public speaking competitions. I would like to call Ms. Vedangi Asavle, who will present on the topic Importance of Cyber Security.
In the past few months, I have received a few emails which rather left me in surprise. Let's have a look at them. This is the first one which says, Moody's is inviting me to an webinar and I need to click on the link to register. Now, after reading this email, I started wondering as to how me, Moody's, Bank of Japan and audit are even related. Let's have a look at the second one. This says my account was accessed from an unknown location and I need to verify myself by verifying my account credentials by using the given link. Now here, I must admit that I was one of the prey. So now, should I just declare that it was a data breach? Or, meanwhile, me wondering at the same time if we could just stop clicking on the phishing emails. That would be great, right? Or we follow our strategy number 2, and which is my personal favorite one, the do nothing strategy. And I'm sure most of you would also be following the strategy in your day-to-day life. But as I mentioned that I didn't follow any of these strategies and I did clicked on the email just to realize that that mail was sent by my organization itself to make us realize about the phishing attacks. And had been not the case, I can only imagine what damage the malware would have caused to my system. Do you know what is the first search result when you Google cybercrime? The headline of Economic Times goes as, more than 3,500 people arrested in over 14,000 cybercrime complaints in 2021. Now what does this depict? If we deep dive, we'll realize that cybercrime has increased substantially over the past decade. Cryptocurrency hacks has led to billions of dollars in losses. Giant corporations have proved that they lack basic digital security, and once again, cyber criminals have demonstrated that their business model is an extremely profitable one. Which brings us to the topic of today's presentation, importance of cyber security. A very good afternoon to all the respected dignitaries and to all the fellow students. My name is Vedangi Narayan Asavle and I am a CA final student. I'm not here to explain or define what cyber security is. Most of us already know that. We all have smartphones that are very well connected to the internet and have basic knowledge of what an antivirus software is. For those who don't, in layman's language, the way we secure our home with a lock to protect from theft, cyber security is protection of internet-connected systems from cyber attack. This presentation considers the broad and extended importance of cyber security for organizations, individuals, government, and at the end of the presentation, I want each and every one of you to embrace cybersecurity. Billionaire businessman and philanthropist Warren Buffett called cybercrime as the #1 problem with mankind, and cyber attack a bigger threat to humanity than even nuclear weapons. And I'm sure you will get why the statement holds so true in current scenario. The importance of cybersecurity can be broadly classified under 5 different heads. Let's touch upon each of them one by one. The first one, cybercrime is increasing significantly. These newspaper headlines demonstrate the same. Nearly 5.3 billion people of Earth's 8 billion were using internet in 2022. The businesses and economies are transforming into digital space. Now, in this process, what is the byproduct? I think all of you have guessed it right. It's data which is the new oil, and our job is to make data spill less. Data is the pollution problem of the information age, and protecting privacy is the environmental challenge. Personal sensitive data of billions of people, individuals, government, business processes, and industry are stored in cloud. And more so in current scenario as pandemic has catapulted the importance of digitization, supply chain optimization, and data-driven insights. Let's take an example. Suppose you want to log in to a new website. You enter your credentials. There's a quick pop-up to save the information. You quickly click yes, and it's done. Wow, such an hassle-free process it was. But now, take a pause. Have you realized that you have just saved your personal information on a cloud, which has a fair amount of chances of being leaked, and which can ultimately lead to an identity theft? Now, these technologies and digitization bring in cybersecurity and privacy challenges. Here, both internal and residual risks are increasing, driven by global connectivity and usage of cloud services such as Amazon Web Services to store personal information and sensitive data. As per the reports, the most targeted sectors in 2021 by hackers included education, research, healthcare, communication, internet service providers, and healthcare. With increase of whooping 75% in the cyber attacks in education and research sector, followed by an increase of 71% in the healthcare sector. Today, cyber attacks are no longer stopped by antivirus software or firewalls. The risk of cyber attacks is increasing substantially. And for companies and businesses, it is no longer a question of if it is going to happen, but rather when it is going to happen. You know, I was flabbergasted when I came to know that there's a separate magazine called as Data Breach Today, which talks only about cybersecurity and cyber crimes. And now that you all know, you also can subscribe to this magazine. P.S. This is not a paid partnership. Now, let's have a look at the second one. This says cost of cybercrime. Let's take a look back in time to the biggest cybersecurity debacles and data breaches. No giant SolarWinds scandal had grazed the headline in 2020. Now, you can only imagine what a cyber attack on a company providing performance monitoring systems to hundreds and thousands of companies around the world would have costed. A quick fact check, data of more than 30,000 private and public organizations was compromised. And how can we forget the data breach occurred in Aadhaar card system, which compromised the data of 1.1 billion users in India. As per the report, the the cybercrime damages may have costed $6 trillion in 2021. To give you a broad overview, if we measure this as an economy of a country in this world, then this could have been the third largest economy, followed by US and China. And as a prediction by Interpol, the global cost of cybercrime may increase to a whopping $10.5 trillion by 2025. Now, you may ask, what does cybercrime cost include? Well, it includes regulatory fine, public relationship costs, and other consequences of a large-scale data breach, which are well understood. But do you know that the cyber attacks have a very large impact on the organizations and which can ripple for years? Which brings us to our third point. Cybersecurity builds trust in an organization. As you can see, this is an image of an iceberg. So most of the people would have noticed the top portion of an iceberg, which includes costs such as public relation, regulatory fines, etc. But there is also an hidden cost or a less visible cost. These are mostly intangible in nature and may include loss of an intellectual property, strategic assets, loss of a customer relationship, which can have a far more impact on an organization than the visible and very well-known costs. You know, when people don't feel that their data is safe and secure, then they start losing trust in an organization. And who knows that this can be start of a downfall of a company. Now, let's look at the fourth point. Every organization has vulnerabilities. As organizations evolve, grow, and merge over time, networks and systems become more and more complex. And there is a high chance that a cyber attack may take place. We have so many examples of companies such as Yahoo, LinkedIn, etc., wherein we can see that as the user base has started increasing, the cyber attacks have also started to increase. As per the research, the human error was the weakest security link in an organization because of the phishing attacks, which we have already seen in the start of the presentation. Now, let's come back to the last and the very most important point. Individuals. Fundamentally, our society is more technologically reliant than ever before. And there are no signs that this trend is going to slow down. Data leaks that could result in identity theft are publicly posted on Insta accounts and other social media accounts. Personal sensitive information such as credit card information, bank account details are stored in cloud. And we as individuals are the weakest link. Let me reiterate upon this that we as individuals are the weakest link. Around 91% of the cyber attacks are conducted by exploiting the people, and a meager 9% by actually exploiting the technology. And no one is safe. Even social media giant Mark Zuckerberg is not safe from cyber attacks. His Twitter and Pinterest accounts were hacked. And do you know because of what? A very common mistake which I feel 70% of us sitting right here makes. Using same password for multiple accounts. And we know the cost of it, but still we are ignorant enough to not change ourselves. A quick recommendation, there's a series known as Jamtara, Sabka Number Aayega. This is a Netflix web series, and this talks about how phishing attacks were conducted. And I would recommend all of you to give it a watch. The other day, I was listening to a TED talk by Dr. Romeo Ferinacci, and he said something which stuck to my mind. Quote, "We put so much out there on network sites that we are living online. And if bad people get hold of this information, then they can pervert who we are, what are we doing, and can change our image, modify the truth. We should control the network sites in such a way that it should define us rather than networking sites defining us for us." Unquote. Now, I have certain what-if questions for all of you, and I want every one of you to think over it. What if I would have never clicked on the login button in the earlier emails? What if we never fall prey to lucrative offers and bonuses flashed in the emails? What if we think twice before we download files from unknown sources? What if we are responsible enough to renew our antivirus softwares on time? And what if we are mindful when we share our personal information on social medias and other online sites? I understand that we as individuals are the vulnerable ones. But I believe at the same time we have the opportunity and the ways and means to embrace cybersecurity. And that right there is how an aware employee and an individual looks at a phishing email after this session. Let this be a reminder to update your browser, renew your antivirus softwares, and invest in password management. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Vedangi. It was a very creative and insightful presentation on cybercrime. Proceeding further, now I would like to call CA Anand Paranjape sir for concluding remarks for the session.
First of all, I would like to thank Pune branch of ICI and Vikasa to host this wonderful national conference. I would also like to thank CA Chandrasekhar Chitale for giving me opportunity to chair this session. Now, let's come to our three presenters. Nitish gave a presentation on the blockchain. Venkat Dinesh gave a presentation on digital economy, and Vedangi gave presentation on cyber security. All three presentations were good. It seems all three have made a lot of efforts to make this presentation. So let's appreciate it by a round of applause for all the three. In the last session, I heard some student complaining that we lack in communication skills and other things. If there are more than 2,000 registrations, I would like to know from the juries whether they have received 6,000 papers for presentation, each giving 3 papers, because there are 3 topics. Did you receive 6,000 presentations? If not, then this is something which requires introspection. Okay. Now, let's come to this, the topics on the blockchain. This blockchain, like say Bitcoin, is an application of blockchain. Blockchain is a concept, it's an open source platform. Now, how are we going to audit applications based on blockchain? When you use a Bitcoin to transfer money, you send money, somebody accepts. The moment that transaction is completed, a new block is created in the chain and it is attached to the chain. So likewise, the blocks are attached. Do you have maker-checker here? If you do not have maker-checker concept here, then there has to be some other tool to do audit of such applications. Now, let's come to the digital economy. Digital economy again is revolutionizing the total mindset and the applications also. Like say DBT. Have you heard the word DBT? Direct Benefit Transfer, used by Government of India, where LPG subsidy is directly credited to the account, farmers subsidy is directly credited, and then we also hear the stories that because of DBT, government has saved thousands of crores of rupees. So this digital economy is passing the benefits directly to those who are intended to receive and not to others. This is revolutionizing the thing. Then last is on the cyber security. Have you heard of the case of latest AIMS Delhi? What happened there? The hackers got hold of the server, they encrypted the data on the hard disk and demanded compensation in bitcoins. So cyber security is really very important, and in many of the cases you will find that these servers are hosted in-house. So you require more specialists and experts to take care if your applications are hosted in-house. Now, with with this, I would like to congratulate once again all the three presenters, and thank you very much for inviting me again here to chair this session. I wish in the next Vikasa conference, all those who register will send all the three papers for presentation, and juries will be really overburdened to get through that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable insights. We would request CA Ajinkya Randive, sir, Managing Committee Member of ICI Pune branch, to felicitate CA Anand Paranjape, sir. Now, I request Mr. Yash Kathed to felicitate paper presenters.
Now, I request Mr. Deven Lunkad, Secretary of Pune branch of Vikasa, to propose the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Gaurav. Mandali कसं काय? How's the Josh? How's the Josh? Awaz. How's the Josh? Yeah, pretty cool. So, firstly, I would like to thank Anand Paranjape sir on the dais, Ajinkya Randive sir on the dais, and all the committee members of the dais, the Vikasa team, and the lovely audience. For you, I would like to say that मंजिल तो मिलेगी भटक भटक कर ही सही, मंजिल तो मिलेगी भटक भटक कर ही सही, गुमराह तो वो है जो घर से निकले ही नहीं. So I'm very much pleased that you all are over here. And coming to the fellow paper presenters, all the paper presenters were, as you also witnessed, were the phenomenal. The kind of efforts they have put in is absolutely very remarkable. So a very big round of applause for all the paper presenters. And it is, as the paper presenters already said, that data is the new oil. You know, data coming to that way, blockchain is the next revolution thing. So, you know, last year I recently read a book called David and Goliath, which is authored by Malcolm Gladwell. That book focused on the concept of, you know, and it is about the misfits, you know, the advantages of having disadvantages and the disadvantages of having advantages. And one thing which specifically the one core message which that book gave was, you know, we see success as what it looks. You know, we only know the first part of it, you know, how it looks, how it feels, and the people over there. But we don't know the back struggle or back sacrifices. But putting that thought, it requires a, you know, lot of thought process, lot of, you know, thought building, and to, you know, if we can sum up the success or what the success looks like, it is like being at the right place at the right thing at the right time. So, mind you, friends, this is the blockchain. Blockchain is something, the thing which is, you know, everyone is hearing it nowadays, and this is going to be the best thing, the next big thing in the coming days. So, and also as the fellow paper presenter said about cyber security, this is as Vedangi also mentioned that phishing attacks. Even I personally got that attack, but it was only internally, and I got saved from it. And this is the thing which every must keep in mind, that this is very important aspect of it. And okay. And concluding it, I would like to say on the CA journey that it is a journey which is filled with struggles. And through the struggle, and I had wrote one, let's say, शायरी. So एक शायरी सुनाना चाहूँगा तुम लोगों को. इरशाद कीजिए. So बिना चांद तारों के रात नहीं होती. बिना चांद तारों के रात नहीं होती. रेगिस्तान में बरसात नहीं होती. बिना संघर्ष किए इंसान तो बनता है, लेकिन वो इंसान में कोई बात नहीं होती. थैंक यू ऑल.
Thank you, Devin. It was a very insightful and knowledgeable session. And now is the time to conclude the session. Thank you. The next session will come in shortly.